you come home with a newborn, you don't really know what to do. And I'm sure that in a year I'll say the same thing with a 2-year-old. Every stay at home parent needs a reminder that it will get easier, and that's such a lie. I made a conscious decision to completely avoid buttons. Should I buy these colorful toys or these wooden said beige toys? Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about the things that I knew and wished I knew as a first-time mom. When I was pregnant, before giving birth, I read a lot about childbirth, about raising newborns, toddlers, etc. I watched a lot of YouTube videos about that, and you can't really be prepared 100% because you've never met your baby, but still all of that information was very helpful for me as a first time mom, and I want to share it with you today. There are a lot of things that I wrote down. They are not in any specific order, it's just the order that I remembered them and made sure to put on my list for today. And I already mentioned the first one. No matter how much research you're gonna do, no matter how much you're gonna watch and read, until you meet your baby, you're not gonna know what to do with your baby, how to respond to specific situations, and in some cases you're not gonna know what's going on, what to do. So you're gonna either Google or call your mom, your pediatrician, someone that has kids. And especially as a first time mom, when you come home with a newborn, you don't really know what to do. It happens to everyone. I feel like it happens to everyone. I didn't know what to do when we just came back home from the hospital. I mean, I knew that I needed to nurse him, put him to sleep, and cuddle him, and change his diapers, but what else? What else? I didn't know. The next thing is something that I wrote down many months ago. I was actually thinking of filming a video like that a while ago. That's why the list is so huge, and some things I don't even remember putting on this list. I wrote newborn phase is very hard, at least it was for me, but it gets easier since month 3 when your baby can actually spend some time playing with toys. And in some ways, yes, it was true. I could put him somewhere with toys and he started playing with them and he was showing interest in those toys. But on the other hand, now that I have an 18-month-old, I can tell you that back then it was still hard. I was still breastfeeding, I still did a lot of diaper changes. He still was not in that age when he could play with the toys by himself. I was the main person who was entertaining him with the toys. So yes, probably it was easier than with a 1-month-old, but definitely not a lot easier. Now I'm a mom of an 18-month-old, and I can tell you the same thing, that it's easier now than it was before. And I'm sure that in a year I'll say the same thing with a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old. It's easier than with an 18-month-old. But I'm not sure we're gonna say that. One more thing I wanted to mention, I don't really talk about my kid here on this channel that much. I'm mostly sharing my motherhood experience and motherhood vlogs, but I just wanted to mention that this motherhood experience is an experience of a mom of a very curious and active toddler and newborn. Even as a newborn, he was very curious and active and didn't want to stay in one place. I'm mentioning that because I see so many Instagram reels and YouTube videos of kids who are not as, well, I can't say as active, but they can sit down and play with a toy for an hour, and this never happens. In our case, attention span at 18 months is about 2 to 3 minutes, so I think this is a pretty normal thing, and this is what most moms experience. It's just on Instagram, on social media, you see a lot of examples of kids who can't focus on one activity for a very prolonged period of time. Next, this is something that I started doing ever since he was born, and that is each month take a picture of your baby, but not with a sign saying how many months your baby is, but with a toy next to your baby, and you'll see the growth. I mean, looking at the pictures of him as a newborn with the toy that we picked, and now as an 18-month-old with this toy. I have not printed those pictures out, but I want to print all of those pictures out and put them in a row and see how fast he grew, because he grew so fast. He's only 18 months and he's so big already. Well, the next one is something that I struggled with. So take your baby on a stroller walks every day since day one, or almost since day one, whenever you're ready to go on a walk, but don't wait for too long. I had a C-section, so it took me quite a while to start walking normally, to be able to walk and feel confident that I was not going to fall. But also, we lived in an apartment complex with such a loud elevator that I could not just put my baby in the stroller while he was already asleep and then leave. The elevator woke him up. Also, we could not go on walks. Also, it was not safe. At least I did not feel safe to walk around the neighborhood where we lived at that time, because there were a lot of homeless people there, a lot of drunk people there. I didn't feel safe walking there alone, and I of course didn't want to walk with my child there. So most of the time we stayed home, and I think one of the reasons why he hated being in a stroller is that he was not used to it. I think I did not put him in the stroller for the first 2 months, maybe. I put him in a carrier but not in a stroller, and I think because of that he was not used to it. So probably it's a good idea to put your baby in a stroller even if you're not going anywhere. Just put him or her in a stroller at home so that your baby could get used to being in a stroller and not fight being there when you actually need to go somewhere. This is a reminder that it is okay to order food in the first weeks or months after giving birth. I ordered takeout, which I didn't actually like, but there was not that much choice. I didn't like anything, honestly. I didn't like anything that I ordered, but it was better than not eating anything. I was so busy with my newborn. I was so exhausted. I was recovering. My partner had to go back to work a week later after I gave birth. So, of course, nobody had the time to cook. And it might seem like newborns sleep a lot and you can cook. In reality, in most cases, it's not like that. You spend all of your day all of your day and night taking care of the newborn, and you're exhausted. So whenever you manage to put your baby to sleep, you don't want to cook. You want to lay down and rest. And rest is very important after giving birth. I personally, even though I knew that I just had an abdominal surgery, I had given birth to a baby, I had to take care of my baby 24/7. Still, I felt so bad for ordering takeout, for not being able to take care of the house, for not being able to cook. And I think every new mom, not even new mom, every mom, every stay-at-home parent needs a reminder that it will get easier. You will get the time to take care of your house. Eventually, you will get the time to cook, to start cooking something eventually. but the first few weeks and months are tough and you need to give yourself some grace. I think you need to print out this reminder that it's okay to nap when your baby naps. It's okay to not take care of your house in this difficult time, or not even, or maybe not print out, but put as a screensaver on your phone, because I kept on forgetting about that, and that was not good for me. Oh, this is very important. Continue taking your prenatal vitamins even after giving birth. I think it's recommended to continue taking them for about a year, especially if you're breastfeeding. It takes 2.5 to 3 years for your body to recover, so you need to take vitamins. Even if you stop taking prenatal vitamins, you should start taking multivitamins. It's going to help with your hair, it's going to help with your overall health, with your skin, with your nails. And also, if you're planning to have kids close in age, you might not even want to stop taking prenatals. You can just continue taking prenatals after giving birth and then during your next pregnancy. This one is especially for the C-section moms. Don't try to do all the things around the house before you're fully recovered. And I'm saying that this is specifically for C-section moms. It's because I was a C-section mom and I thought that I was fully recovered when I started doing a lot of things around the house, and I had a huge step back in my recovery. I started feeling worse. I started taking care of the house way too early and I overworked myself. I had a huge step back in my recovery and I had to kind of start almost all over again. Of course, not from day one when I could not walk, but it got painful to walk again, got painful to pick things up from the floor again. So especially if you had a C-section, you need to make sure that you're fully recovered and not overwork yourself. Next, I have a lot of tips and things about sleep, because I struggled with putting him for naps and for with night sleep. So I have a lot about sleep and naps. Rest when your baby naps, and I know you've heard nap when your baby naps. And if you really need to do something around the house, which we all need to do, don't plan more than 1 or 2 things, because you will not be able to accomplish all of those things. Your baby is your number one priority, and getting rest is your second priority. So you can spend one of those naps doing something around the house, and the rest of the naps you need to rest. You can't do things around the house every time your baby naps. Another thing about naps is, even though it's a good idea for you to go and lay down and get some sleep, naps don't always help. I'm saying that because for several months I had to wake up at night every hour and a half. I didn't get more than 2 hours of sleep. I didn't get more than an hour and a half of consecutive sleep for many months. I think it was around 4 months that I had to wake up every hour and a half. Because of that, I didn't want to take naps during the day. Those short 30-minute naps would have made me feel even worse, and I tried taking naps during the day, 30-minute naps. It made me feel worse simply because I had to wake up every hour and a half at night. If you get more than that during the night, if you get 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of consecutive sleep at night, then of course a 30-minute nap will make you feel better. But I noticed that 30-minute naps are not helpful. They made me feel even worse. So I stopped taking those naps and I was just spending my time on the sofa, resting but not sleeping, just watching some TV show or YouTube, not doing anything, just resting but not napping. And another reminder that needs to be either printed out and placed on a wall or set up as a phone screensaver: sleep deprivation is temporary. It might not seem like that. It definitely did not seem like that when I was sleep deprived. I was sleep deprived for the first 4 months, and then it got a little bit better. Instead of getting 1.5 hours of consecutive sleep, I started getting 2 hours. And then one day I got 3 hours of consecutive sleep. I got so scared when I woke up and I saw that I slept for 3 hours. I immediately ran to check. Well, not ran, but got up and looked at the bassinet to check on my son, because this was the first time that he slept for 3 hours. I was so scared. I had to check his breathing just because I was really nervous, scared. This was the first time that I slept for so long. I remember the night when he slept for 5 hours straight. I woke up twice just because I was so used to waking up often, and I was nervous. I was scared that he's not waking up to cry or nurse or be cuddled. He was just sleeping, and I quietly made sure that everything was fine, that he was breathing. I looked at the baby monitor. Even though he was sleeping right next to me, I didn't want to move a lot. I didn't want to wake him up, so I quietly picked up my baby monitor and I checked. I zoomed in and the quality on the baby monitor is not perfect. So I zoomed in and I was just looking, staring to make sure that he was breathing. And a couple months later, he started sleeping through the night. I was getting more and more sleep. I stopped waking up at night just out of habit. It was so nice to get a full night of sleep. You can't even imagine how great it feels after being sleep deprived. So just remember, sleep deprivation is temporary. Another thing, don't buy a lot of pacifiers because your baby might not even want to take a pacifier. I think especially if it's a breastfed baby. I might be mistaken, but I think that if you breastfeed your baby doesn't really want to take that silicone thingy and suck on it, just like with the bottle. So just don't buy a lot of pacifiers. I got two packages of pacifiers, of different pacifiers from Nook and some other brand, but he didn't want to take any of them. I was trying to give it to him, he refused, and I was not planning on giving him a pacifier for several years. I just wanted to give him a pacifier for 1 or 2 nights to see if he would sleep better. He just didn't want to take it, so don't spend a lot of money on buying many pacifiers before you have a baby. This one is again about being severely sleep deprived. If you are breastfeeding or feeding your baby with a bottle at night and you're severely sleep deprived, you know that you might fall asleep, stay on your phone. Just stare at your phone like that, because blue light will keep you awake. And I know that it's not good to stare at blue light because it affects your sleep, but if you know that you will need to wake up in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and do it all over again, and you don't want to fall asleep with a baby in your arms, make sure to stare at your phone. I spent so many nights literally nursing my child but staring at my phone because I was scared that I would fall asleep. I fell asleep twice while nursing and I was not on my phone. I was just in a dark room, pitch black room. Nursing at night when you're severely sleep deprived is scary because you don't want to drop your baby when you all of a sudden fall asleep. So it's better to make sure that you're not falling asleep by staring at your phone. And yes, you might make a couple of unnecessary purchases, but it's better than falling asleep while nursing your baby. Oh my god, I I completely forgot that you need to burp newborns. I mean, at 18 months, you don't really burp your child, even at 1 year. I don't even remember when I stopped burping him. I think I should have remembered, but I don't remember. So you need to burp your baby after each feeding, but sometimes, no matter how much you pat your baby on the back, he might not burp, but you know that he would want to burp, he needs to burp. Another thing that you can do is put your baby for a little while on the tummy. It will help your baby to burp. This one is funny. If you're trying to put your baby to bed but he's squirming and twisting like a worm, check if he's hot or try to burp him one more time. So what I did was first I checked if he was hot and then I tried to burp him again, and even if he already burped before, try doing it again. And to make sure that he's not hot or cold, you should not check the nose, you should check your baby's neck and back. Nose, feet, hands, they might be cold because of the way blood is circulating in newborns. As far as I know, they have poor blood circulation, but honestly, my hands are often cold and I'm not a newborn, so I know for sure that it's not the best way to check if somebody is cold or hot. Okay, this one actually surprised me because I didn't know that. When I was preparing for, new life, for having a newborn, I heard that I would need to breastfeed my baby every 2 to 3 hours, and that's such a lie. That was such a lie because I had to nurse him more often than 2 hours. Sometimes I had to nurse him every 30 minutes, sometimes every hour. I don't even remember when I started nursing every 2 hours, but it was definitely not the first or the second month. I think it depends on the size of your baby. Some babies are born bigger, so they need more milk than smaller babies. Also, babies nurse more often when they're going through growth spurts, and I think he was going through growth spurts every day, so I had to nurse him that often. But you just never know. With newborns, you just never know what's going on. And you know what else? I walk with a giant water bottle every day, and I drink every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes. So I'm not surprised that babies might be thirsty every 30 minutes as well. Breastfeeding is not always as peaceful and relaxing as it's portrayed. You probably know what I mean. You've probably seen those movies where a woman is just sitting with her newborn and butterflies and birds are flying around and everything is so rosy and nice. Breastfeeding was something new to me, and it takes time for you to learn. It takes time for your baby to learn how to nurse, how to latch. It takes time for you to know how to latch your baby properly. So it's a lot of work. And also, as your baby grows, your baby will start grabbing you, grabbing your hair, trying to touch your face, and not like in movies, just gently touch your face. No, you might be slapped on your face. It depends on your baby, but they might think that your nose is funny and try to grab your nose or grab your lips, grab your hair. If you're wearing necklaces, just stop. I stopped wearing necklaces when I was breastfeeding, and I still can't get into the habit of wearing necklaces and any sort of jewelry because I just keep on forgetting. When you're breastfeeding, don't switch sides too often. Wait until your baby drinks all of the milk on one side and only then switch to the other side. The next time when you start breastfeeding, start with the last side. For example, you first nursed on the right and then on the left. The next time you start with the left boob and then you go to the right boob. This can help you avoid oversupply on one side and under supply on the other side, and the size will be kind of even, not even 100%, but kind of even. And don't forget that no matter what you do, one of your boobs will produce more milk than the other one. I don't know why, but it will happen. We talked about naps, but babies don't just fall asleep easily. A lot of the times you have to be the one who helps them to fall asleep. I don't even know if any baby can fall asleep on his own, but you have to rock your baby to sleep. And also, we live in such an environment where most of us need white noise for our babies. I remember that at first listening to white noise was kind of okay. I didn't mind turning on the white noise. After several months of listening to white noise for hours and hours and hours, I started getting so overstimulated. Don't forget that I was sleep deprived, but I think everyone at some point starts getting overstimulated and annoyed by white noise. So what I started doing was I did not turn on white noise. I started turning on ocean waves on YouTube, and I actually later got the Hutch sound machine. I think it's called Rest Plus second gen. It's a long name, but it's a Hutch sound machine with light, and it has different sounds there. I think it's a lot better than just having white noise on. You can turn on ocean waves, you can turn on thunderstorm, rain. There are a lot of different sounds there that you can choose from. So this is something that you should invest in if you don't want to lose your mind when rocking your baby to sleep. I also heard that at some age your baby might think that white noise is overstimulating and trigger their fight or flight response. I don't know the science behind that, but it feels like babies also get tired of white noise, so you need to switch the sounds up. Next one about sounds. It's okay to wear noise cancelling headphones when your baby's crying, and I don't mean leaving your baby in one room and letting them cry for hours and hours while you're listening to some music in your noise cancelling headphones. No, I mean there will be days when you will spend hours rocking your baby who's gonna be crying. You would not know why, what to do. It might be colic, it might be something else. You would not know, but hearing that cry for hours and hours is tough. I know that it's tough, and it's better to put on some noise cancelling headphones while you're holding your crying baby and trying to settle them down, because you will feel a lot calmer when not hearing the cry. You will listen to some music and feel quieter and help your baby settle. You can't help your baby settle if you're overstimulated, you're getting angry, you're tired of hearing your baby cry and feel helpless because you don't know what to do. So what you need to do is calm down first. I know that some therapists and pediatricians and OBGYNs tell you to leave your baby to cry in the room if you feel overwhelmed and overstimulated. You can do that for a couple of minutes, but if your baby is crying for hours, you can't leave your baby for hours in a separate room just to cry. You need to be there for your baby, to cuddle them, to comfort them. So wearing noise cancelling headphones is one of the things that you can do. Another thing about sleep, about baby sleep, about naps, it's kind of related to that. Make sure to fix all of the doors, all of the doorknobs, grease them, or whatever it's called. Make sure they're not squeaky, they're not making any loud sounds and noises, because you don't want to spend an hour trying to put your baby to sleep just to open the door and wake your baby up with the loud noise of a squeaking door. Also, the floors, make sure there is nothing that makes noise in your house. Okay, next I have several things about baby stuff. First of all, don't buy a lot of newborn stuff. They will grow out of newborn clothes and things way too fast, so don't spend a lot of money on newborn things. I think I got 5 pajamas for newborn and 5 bodysuits, and that was more than enough for the first month that he was. I don't even think that he was wearing it for a month. I think he grew out of it even quicker. I don't remember. It was such a blur. Speaking about pajamas, don't buy pajamas with buttons. Get pajamas with zippers, but only with two-way zippers. So the only pajamas that you need are two-way zipper pajamas. For easier diaper changes, you can just unzip them from the bottom, and you don't want to struggle with tiny little buttons on a wiggly newborn. Now that I'm a mom to an 18-month-old, I want to say you should avoid buttons at all ages until they can dress them up by themselves. When your baby's a newborn, he's gonna be wiggly. Then a little bit later, your baby will learn to move arms and legs better on purpose, and you're not gonna be able to button anything up. Then at around 1, when your baby starts running, you don't want to chase your toddler trying to button some shirt up. So I made a conscious decision to completely avoid buttons. Also, buttons are a choking hazard, and you never know when they will start chewing on the buttons, so it's better to avoid them. You can buy something with buttons, like one cute outfit with buttons that you know you will put on, you will go out and then take it off and never put on again. Don't buy colorful toys for the first month, and I think for the first a month and a half to 2 months, you should not buy colorful toys. Just because newborns can see black and white, they need high contrast toys and cards and pictures that are black and white. If you put some colorful toy in front of them, it's gonna look grayish to them. For their eyesight, it's better to have something high contrast. If you're planning to have a baby shower, and if you have a baby registry for your friends and family to buy things for the baby, you should add something for yourself, and that something is food delivery gift cards. Because, as I mentioned, you're not gonna have that much time to cook. If nobody's going to come and cook for you or send you food, you will spend a lot of money on food delivery. So if there is an option to put food delivery cards, gift cards on the baby registry, do that. Another baby shower gift idea is a robot vacuum cleaner. I know there is an option on baby registries for multiple people to buy one thing as a gift. These robot vacuums are quite expensive, but if multiple people want to get this thing for you, it's going to be great. It's gonna save you some time and energy. When you have a newborn, you don't really want to do anything. You just want to sleep and cuddle with your baby. Next, buy a glider or a rocking chair. I didn't think that I would need it, and then I gave birth and I had a C-section. The only chair where I could sit was this, but I had to put a lot of pillows behind me because I could not just sit down using my ab muscles like that. I had to sit at a 90-degree level on the very edge of this chair. It's just a regular armchair from IKEA. and it would have been better if I had something more comfortable to sit in. I recently sat in a Pottery Barn glider, and I really want to get it and keep it for the rest of my life because it was so comfy. I think even if you're not planning to have kids or you're not planning to have any more kids, you should get that glider. It's expensive, but it's so comfortable. I will definitely get it before I have my second baby. Also, I think it might be a little bit easier to rock your baby in a rocking chair or a glider with this movement and not jump around the room. Or what I did, I was bouncing on a yoga ball a lot just because I could not move my arms like that anymore, so I was bouncing on a yoga ball. And maybe if I had a glider and a rocking chair, it would have been easier. I don't know, but maybe I will try. If your doctors tell you that you're gonna have a big baby, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna have a big baby. But also, if your doctors don't tell you anything about the size of your baby, they don't tell you that you're gonna have a big baby, it doesn't mean that your baby's not going to be big. Nobody told me that I was gonna have a big baby. I was not prepared for having a big baby, and I was really surprised that I had a big baby. I think that my belly was huge and it was obvious, but at that time I didn't think that it was huge. But if one of you, if one of the parent, but if one of you, either you or your partner, are tall, chances are your baby's gonna be big. If your mom and dad, if your mom and dad or your partner's mom and dad are tall, you might end up having a bigger baby. So if there is someone tall on each side, it can lead to you having a big baby. Okay, I mentioned that my baby slept in a bassinet, and I'm glad that we bought a bassinet. We got the Hello Swivel Sleep something something. It has one side that can go up and down, and it's easier for you to transfer your newborn into this bassinet when one of the sides can go down. But if you or your partner or your parents or your partner's parents are tall and you might end up having a taller baby, you will need to transfer your baby from the bassinet a lot earlier than you anticipated to. I transferred my son to a crib when he was not even 3 because the bassinet ended up being too small for him. And it's not like you need to wait until there is no room for your child to grow from the bassinet. Your child should sleep comfortably in the bassinet. There should be some space between your child's feet and the bassinet, head and the bassinet, and on the sides. So probably would have made more sense to buy a crib and put him in a crib since day one. But I'm glad that we had a bassinet that had one side that goes down because I had a C-section. It was easier for me to bend over to put my baby in a bassinet. This one is about preparation for giving birth. Even if you plan to have an unmedicated birth in a bathtub, learn as much as you can about C-sections, about C-section recovery, just in case, because I was not prepared and I now regret not knowing the information that I needed to know. Because no matter how much you do to prepare for a so-called natural delivery, you never know how things might go. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone, I just want you to be prepared and feel confident no matter what's going on. Body odor. Ugh, I remember that body odor. So you will have a weird, strong body odor for your newborn to identify you, to easily find you. I didn't like my body odor. I could feel it. It doesn't matter how much you shower. It doesn't matter what deodorant you use. And by the way, you should not use scented deodorants, you should not use perfume for your newborn. And I think I started noticing this body odor about a couple of weeks before I gave birth. And then as soon as I gave birth, there is nothing to be ashamed of. It's just something that you also need to know about and know why it happens, and not try to cover it way too much. I mean, I used an aluminum free deodorant without any strong scents, but still it did not help, just because it felt like it was my whole body, and I just knew why it was happening. Next, lactation consultant is a must if you want to breastfeed. Luckily, in my hospital, there was a lactation consultant who came. I think she came the first day right after I gave birth to help me with the latch and to see how the baby latches, because as I mentioned, I have never breastfed before. My baby was never breastfed before, so of course we needed some professional help. And she spent quite a while explaining what to do, how to hold my baby, how to hold my boob, how to know if the latch is correct. And then there was another lactation consultant who came in the next day because I was not sure if I was doing everything correctly, so I wanted to ask her even more questions. And then when I came home, I could call a lactation consultant and ask questions. And by the way, if you want to breastfeed, you should not go on any diets right after you give birth. You should actually eat 500 more calories than you did before. It's one more meal a day. And I know that I said it's hard to find the time to cook, to eat. That's why you need to order food or have something meal prepped before you give birth, or have someone who can cook for you. You have to eat a lot, if you want to breastfeed. I even noticed that on days when I ate less, I had less milk. Sometimes your newborn might look awake, but he or she will still be asleep. They are weird sleepers. They make a lot of noises when they sleep, and also sometimes their eyes are open or half open, but they're still asleep. You can see that I wear my hair down, and nowadays I wear my hair down pretty often. After I gave birth, I had my hair in a claw clip and in a bun every day. I didn't want a single strand of my hair touching my neck, my shoulders, my back. I was so overstimulated that even a single strand could make me even more overstimulated, annoyed, just because I was sleep deprived, as I mentioned multiple times here. And also, I was touched out. I was constantly holding my baby. So, of course, I was touched out, and putting my hair in a claw clip and in a bun helped me not feel even more overwhelmed. Now, even though I have my hair down, I still put it in a claw clip and in a bun quite often, more than I would want to, just because I do so many things around the house. I chase my toddler, and it's not practical, not comfortable, and my hair is very long, so it's easier for me to wear my hair up. You will most likely feel like you're doing something wrong, especially because nowadays we have so much contradicting information. We want to do the best for our kids, and you never know if the information that you read is the correct information. Is this information, this amount of information, makes it so easy to start doubting yourself. And I actually don't know how to help with this, because I doubt myself all the time. I will start doing an activity with my son, and then I would think, is it the right thing to do at this age? Should we be doing it? Maybe we should start doing this. Should we start Montessori? Should we start Waldorf? Should I buy these colorful toys or these wooden said beige toys? There is so much that is going on in my head. Lastly, you will most likely feel mom guilt for for many things. For example, when I had to go to a hair salon to finally have my roots fixed after 6 months of not being able to leave my child for longer than 2 hours, I felt so much guilt for sitting there at the salon and leaving my son at home, even though I knew that he was with my partner, everything was fine. I just felt this guilt that I left him for 3 hours and went to get my hair done. I also started feeling mom guilt when I see some other mom doing a lot of activities with her kids, and I usually see it on Instagram because I don't see anyone in real life. I don't have any mom friends here in real life, so I don't have any comparison here. But when I open up Instagram, I should delete Instagram because I see those moms going places with their kids and doing all sorts of different activities at home and cooking so many various yummy things, and I'm here overwhelmed because of the dishes that need to be put in the dishwasher. Yeah, that makes me feel mom guilt, but all of us are just trying to do our best. I think this is going to be it for today's video. I mostly talked about the newborn phase. I just recently entered the being a mom of a toddler stage, so I don't think I have enough experience in toddlerhood yet, but I'll keep you updated. I'll film another video about what I wish I knew as a first time toddler mom. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!